All right, everyone, get in here, sit down, and shut up. We've got stuff to talk about. So last week's results, not too bad against the money line. I went 12-4, got the Chiefs, Patriots, Lions, and Texans game wrong. But other than that, pretty solid against the money line. The spread, which I have a method and a formula that I go by, but not enough time has gone through this season for me to start using it. So that's what I'm blaming this on. But I was 9-7 against the spread, and I really noticed most of the games I went just whoever I went with the money line, I went against the spread with. So there wasn't a lot there, and honestly, looking at my week 2 guesses, same way. But that doesn't matter. What you're going to do now is actually like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can catch my picks, because I'm pretty good against the money line, and I can help you, make money or win your office pool. I don't know, 12-4 is pretty solid. I got to tell you. Now, it could have been a little better. And it will get better as the season goes on, and I have a better idea of what's going on with each team. But right now, even in week 2, still a bit of a crapshoot. We don't know too much. I mean, people want to pretend they do, and I'm going to try and pretend that I do. But for the most part, nobody knows yet. Probably, I say 4 weeks in the season. You got to see 4 games of every single team before you can really be like, I bet I know what's going to happen in this game. So we're halfway there after this week coming up. But for right now, in my opinion, it's still a crapshoot. Get over it. But let's get right into it. So the first game of the week, Thursday night, we've got the Commanders heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. This was a tough game right out the gate, in my opinion. I have to go Packers, I think, money line here, just because they beat the Lions, and I'm still convinced the Lions are a pretty good team. Commanders, coming off a win against the Giants, who I don't find that impressive. They didn't really do anything special against the Giants or anything like that. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, say short week, home team wins, Green Bay in Green Bay. That's always a tough environment. I could totally see me being wrong about this one. I'm torn quite a bit, but I'm going Packers money line, and I'm also going to go with them against the spread just because it's only 3.5. So I feel like the Packers will cover that. Next game here, we've got the Bills heading to New York to take on the Jets. Now, Buffalo Bills, they might be one of the best teams in the NFL. That's not too much. I mean, that's just the way that is. I believe they are going to absolutely clobber the Jets here. The spread is 6.5 points, and I'll tell you this: I'm going Bills money line and Bills spread. I don't think the Jets are that good. I really don't. And they'll continue to prove me right week in and week out. The Bills, however, are a good team, and I think that they will come out and just get to work early on the Jets and put it to bed. So that's Bills money line, Bills money line, Bills against the spread as well. Next game, we have the Chicago Bears heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. Another division game here. This was a tough one because both teams coming off a loss, but I don't know. I watched that Bears-Vikings game. The Bears don't look that good. And Caleb Williams, I just not feeling it. So I'm taking the Lions here. I've got the Bears covering, though, simply because I'm a little worried about, they got 5.5 points. I feel like it'll be a close game. Detroit, maybe their offense not clicking on all cylinders. I will say the Bears defense looked okay in the first half against the Vikings. So maybe, I don't know if the Lions have as much talent as the Vikings do, especially for at wide receiver and whatnot. St. Brown, everything is pretty good, but he's no Jefferson. So, the Bears were able to control him for the most part. I think he still had a touchdown, but he didn't have some crazy game, right? He had a normal wide receiver game. So I'll say that the Bears hold it tight here. Division game, why not? Early in the season. So Lions, money line, Bears, spread. All right, next game we have another division rivalry here. We got the Browns heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Browns surprised me. They did hold tight to the Bengals there in week 1. I really thought the Bengals were going to wipe the floor with them. It doesn't change anything as far as how I feel about the Browns. I think the Ravens will win this game, and I think they'll easily cover the spread, which the spread is 11.5 points. But I'm sorry, the Ravens came out and just absolutely put it to Buffalo. And Buffalo's defense is going to be way better than the Browns' defense. Plus, Ravens coming off a loss, I can't see them handling that too well. Derrick Henry probably very upset about that fumble. So I see the Ravens just beating them, obviously, and then I think they cover that 11.5. I'm taking the Ravens against that spread. Next game, we have the Jaguars heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Again, just from the last game that we talked about here, The Bengals really surprised me that they didn't crush the Browns any more than they did. I think it was just a 1-point game or something like that. Jacksonville, as I mentioned, I do think are a better team this season than last season, but I don't think that they're going to beat the Bengals. I've got the Bengals winning this game. The spread's 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals against the spread here, just because I feel like this is how I envision the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I think that they will either win or they'll get blown out. They might win a close game or get blown out. That just seems to be how I'm picturing the Jaguars season right now. Again, very early, but that's just what I'm thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals here, money line and Bengals against the spread. All right, next game we have the Rams heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Rams did beat the Texans, one of the games I got wrong last week. Do think the Rams were a good team. I just had this hunch maybe the Texans might, win. I was wrong. No big deal. Titans, though, Cam Ward, a few highlights I've seen of him. I haven't seen that game yet, but he did look decent. He did do some, he looks like he might be a bit of a player there, but he's still a rookie quarterback. It's still the Tennessee Titans. I'm taking the Rams here. I'm going to go ahead and take them money line and spread. I think the Rams will take care of business. The spread's only 5.5, so I can see the Rams winning by a touchdown here. No problem. Next game, unfortunately, have to cover the Dolphins here. The Patriots are heading to Miami to take them on. Now, the Dolphins, they easily the worst team week one, without a doubt. They looked the worst of everybody that played, and they still somehow opened as favorites against the Patriots. I think I saw as much as 2.5 points favorites. Now, I think that's probably because the Patriots aren't as good as I think they are, but I think the Patriots are going to be good, but maybe it's going to take a little bit. I am unfortunately taking the Dolphins money line here. I think they will win in Miami. I think they'll bounce back a little bit here. Division game. They always play the Patriots tough regardless. So, but home game, I think the Dolphins win. It's only a 1-point spread, so I feel like I'm just going to take the Dolphins here against the spread too. I hate it so much. I got to be honest. I don't want to pick the Dolphins to win any football game ever because all they will do is make me cry. They will upset me, sadden me, and disappoint me. That's all they've done for nearly 30 years. But we're going to take them anyway here to win the game and cover the spread. Next game, we have the Giants heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. A lot of division games here this week, considering it's just week 2. I thought they usually kept those to the end of the season. How many are there? 7. Well, almost half the games this week are division games. I guess there were a few last week too, but that's just I just thought they really kept those near the anyway. It doesn't really matter. So I don't even remember who we're talking about. The Giants and the Cowboys. I think so. This is what I have. I have the Cowboys winning this game, but I think the Giants will cover. It's a 6-point spread. It'll probably be close because the Cowboys are just like that. They will make this a hard win for no reason. But I definitely think the Cowboys will look. I don't think they looked bad against the Eagles. I think that they had that delay or whatever, and both teams sort of just stalled out there in the second half after the delay was over. But I don't think the Giants are a good football team. I do think the Cowboys are going to be better than they looked. They've already, if you think about it, they covered the spread, so they're already better than what Vegas thinks. But I do think the Cowboys win, but I think not the Jaguars, but the Giants rather will keep it within the 6 points. Next game, we have the 49ers heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I do think the Saints are a bad football team this year. I do think the 49ers are a good football team this year, so that makes it very simple. 49ers will win this game. It's a 4.5-point spread, which is really surprising. I think this. I think the 49ers win by way more than 4 or 5 points. They lost the money line and the spread against the Cardinals last week. 49ers, Cardinals, you can't really, I think 49ers are a better football team than the Cardinals. So this is pretty easy for me. 49ers beat the Saints, and they will also cover that 4.5-point spread that I see here. The Seattle Seahawks heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This is the last 1 o'clock game I have here. This is a tough one because I think the Seahawks, I don't think the Seahawks are going to be 0-2 bad, but they are going from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. They are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I think are probably, they're always a solid team. I think the Steelers win this game. It's a 3-point spread. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers on the spread here as well. I think they'll cover the 3 points. It just, I don't know. I really look at that, West Coast to East Coast thing. It means a lot to me. And seeing it here, it's going to, I think it's going to affect the game here. So Steelers win the game, and they'll cover that spread. All right, next game, Carolina Panthers heading to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I guess this is essentially the same thing in reverse here. We've got a East Coast team pretty much going to the West Coast. Not quite all the way, but close enough. I think this is pretty simple. Cardinals will win. They will also cover. The spread's only 6.5. I mean, I think the Cardinals will. I don't know. I think the Cardinals are the early half-season team, and they are playing a bad football team in the Panthers. Panthers are, I think, better. They're better this year than they were last year. That's for sure. But I don't think it's going to matter this week. I think the Cardinals win pretty easy, and I don't see why they wouldn't win by a touchdown. All right, next game we have the Broncos heading to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Now, it saddens me that the Colts, who I think are probably not going to be a very good football team this year, beat my Miami Dolphins. So I have a grudge for the rest of the season against them. I do think here's the thing. I think the Colts are built to beat a team like the Dolphins from the simple fact they have probably one of the best offensive lines in the league. And the Dolphins were really relying on their pass rush. Pass rush didn't get through. There we go. Colts just, march up and down the field. I do think the Broncos have a better defense than the Dolphins overall. I do think the Broncos are a better team than the Colts. They are favored to win by 2. So I'm simply taking the Broncos by the money line, and I'm going to go ahead and say they cover because, I don't know, I just feel like when it's less than 3 points, when it's 3 or less points, I'm going to take the spread on whoever wins because it's so simple for them to win by more than that. I don't see this being a 1-point game. Colts probably come back down to earth, and the Broncos, I just think, are a pretty solid team that's going to be there by the end of it. All right, next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Big game here, but I think we're going to surprise people. I don't think the Chiefs got it. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I believe they're going to go ahead and cover the spread. The spread's only 1 point. I don't think it's that close. Chiefs just lost to the Chargers. It did not look that explosive. I saw some crazy stat about Pat Mahomes. I'm not going to go over it now, but essentially he just does not throw the ball deep worth a crap anymore. And I just see the Eagles just continuing to roll through this. I think it's going to take more than the Chiefs to beat the Eagles. So Eagles win this game, and I'll go ahead and say that they cover the spread as well. I think the Chiefs will figure it out. I think they'll be okay by the end of the season, but I think right now they're going to be struggling, and that's what I'm going with right now. Next up, we have the Falcons heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. I was a bit surprised the Vikings had as much trouble with the Bears as they did. Now, that said, I'm going to go ahead and take the Vikings to win this game and I believe cover the spread because I don't think the Falcons are that good. I have a lot of stock in Bijan Robinson in fantasy football, so I'm really hoping that they're better than I think they are. But overall, I think the Vikings will win this one at home, and the spread's only 4.5 right now, so I'm going to just go ahead and take the Vikings again. How many of these do I share? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 out of 16 games, I just have whoever I'm picking to win cover the spread. Like I said, formula is coming up. It's about 3 weeks out, and then we'll probably see a little bit more. But like I said, I need 4 weeks. I need 4 weeks of stats before I can figure out what I'm saying. And then I'll also start doing over-unders then now. But for right now, just money line. And the spread, to me, I don't know. It's not, I don't listen to me when it comes to spread. Definitely listen to me money line. I'm pretty sure I'm picking the right winners. But the spread right now, don't trust me. Anyway, we were on the Vikings game, Falcons-Vikings. Vikings win, and Vikings will cover the 4.5 points. Next game, we have the Bucs visiting the Houston Texans. I like Tampa Bay. I mean, I think they are one of the more solid teams. Texans already proved me wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and just roll with the Bucs here. And they're actually the underdog. The Bucs are the underdog, I guess, because they're the away team. So it's pretty easy to take the Bucs here to cover the spread. But I think the Buccaneers win, and I think they'll cover. All right, our second Monday night game. I was really hoping that they weren't going to do this crap with Monday Night Football. I'll be honest with you. The two games. I mean, one starts at 7, the other starts at 10. So I guess technically, one might be over. The first one might be over very close to it, which that's okay, I guess, to a point. Give the East Coast people a full game, but gosh, 10 o'clock, that game's not going to be over until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's ridiculous. Anyway, Chargers heading to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders here. Now, I think the Raiders, I don't think the Raiders are a good football team. I think they played a very, up-and-coming bad football team that will probably be good at the better this season. I think the Patriots will be better as the season goes on. I don't think the Raiders. Like, I'm looking here. The Raiders are only 3.5-point underdogs. I'm sorry. The Chargers just whipped up, in my opinion, on the Chiefs. I think the Chargers are a solid football team that's going to beat a lot of teams this year. And honestly, the Chargers are one of those teams where until they lose, I think I'm just going to pick them to win. I really like the Chargers this season. It's pretty simple here. It's the Chargers are going to be the win. Chargers are going to win the game, and it's a 3.5-point spread. I mean, they just beat the Chiefs by 7. Why can't they beat the Raiders by 4 or more, right? So we'll go ahead and take the Chiefs. We'll go ahead and take the Chargers money line and the Chargers against the spread. So those are my picks this week. Like I said, 12-4 last week against the money line, which, you know, that's top notch right there, especially week 1. I don't expect that in week 1 because I do follow it a little bit closer than I used to. So, you know, week 1 used to be kind of up in the air, but now that I'm following a bit to make these videos, you know, maybe that's why, I was able to do so well. And honestly, against the spread's not bad. I think as long as if you pick the spread and you get more wrong or more right than wrong, I think you still win money generally because they usually evens up the betting lines there. But still could have been better. But like I said, until I have my formula figured out and done, the spread, I'm not putting too much effort or thought into it other than just what I feel like in this moment. So there are my week 2 picks. I do want to say this one thing. If you have X or Twitter and you want to follow me, you can. But I made a post. I don't know if you saw this fan in Buffalo. He was pushing some of the players as they went by, and Lamar Jackson pushed him back. I can't remember which commentator it was, but they were actually berating Lamar Jackson for retaliating after this fan reached over the barrier and pushed him in the head of all places. And then Lamar Jackson just went up and just pushed him back into his seat. And I just could not believe that the commentators in that game were trying to say that Lamar Jackson was in the wrong here. I'm sorry. You put your hands anyway physically on somebody who's obviously in much better shape than you and can obviously beat the absolute crap out of you. You should expect to get the absolute crap kicked out of you. He's lucky that all it was a shove, in my opinion. And I've heard that fan is banned, indefinitely from the stadium. Although, there's no way they can enforce that. They can just say it out loud because they want to say that they did something. But here's the thing. You go to a game, you touch somebody, or, you go to a wrestling event, you go to a sporting event, you go anywhere where they're even a comedy show, right? And you try to touch the performer, you can expect to have a very bad evening from that point forward. So I don't feel bad at all for that guy. I just wanted to put that out there. I think he definitely got what he deserved, and he probably deserves worse than he got. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I made a little tweet about it and it got some traction, and I was just like, hey, why don't I include this in my video as well, since people are interested. So anyway, that's my picks for the week. I hope you enjoyed them. I definitely made sure to cover all the money lines and spreads this week, so not to go over them again here. But thank you so much for watching. If you got that far, I do appreciate it. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you also subscribe if you haven't. We'll be putting these up every single week. And you can use them for whatever you need to use them for, because you can argue with me, you can bet your house on any of them, I guess, if you want. I'm not suggesting you do that, but you're welcome to. But either way, thank you all so much for watching, and you take it easy.